Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including the updated Model S, new Model Y recalls, hardware 4.0 eliminating a camera, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, usually when we hear about a Tesla recall, it ends up being a simple issue that gets resolved pretty quickly with an over-the-air software update, and the word recall doesn't accurately describe what's actually happening. Even their latest recall involving the FSD beta didn't have any physical ramifications or require an inspection. Now though, Tesla is experiencing several very real recalls. First, Tesla officially has recalled 3,470 2022 and 2023 Model Ys for loose bolt issues affecting second-row seatbelts. According to a NHTSA filing, the bolts securing these second-row seatback frames may not have been securely tightened, which could reduce seatbelt system performance, increasing the risk of injury during a crash. Tesla told NHTSA they have identified 5 warranty claims since December that could be related to this issue, but they are not aware of any injuries or deaths resulting from it. To resolve the issue, Tesla will inspect bolts securing the second-row driver's side and passenger side seatback frames to the lower seat frames, and if needed, they just need to tighten them to specifications. In December, a Tesla supplier implemented improved process controls, training, and supervision to make sure the bolts are torqued to specifications, so it sounds like they already have this problem under control. As for how many vehicles are actually affected, NHTSA plans to send letters to owners by April 25th, and free repairs will be available at Tesla service centers. If you think your car might have this issue and you don't want to wait for that letter, Tesla has a website where you can check your VIN to see if your vehicle is included in this recall. I'm guessing that mine is probably in that recall since it was late 2022. In addition to this recall, Tesla is now under NHTSA investigation again, and it could lead to a second physical recall. This time, 2 Model Ys have had their steering wheels actually fall off. In their report, NHTSA said the Office of Defects Investigation is aware of 2 reports of complete detachment of the steering wheel from the steering column while driving in 2023 model year Tesla Model Y vehicles. Both vehicles were delivered to the owners, missing the retaining bolt which attaches the steering wheel to the steering column. Tesla told NHTSA that both vehicles received an end-of-line repair that required the removal and reinstallation of the steering wheel. Quote, sudden separation occurred when the force exerted on the steering wheel overcame the resistance of the friction fit while the vehicles were in motion. Both known incidents occurred at low vehicle mileage. We're not currently aware if these incidents resulted in crashes or injuries, and it's unclear if more vehicles are affected than just these 2, so we'll have to wait and see if they issue an actual recall over this. NHTSA said around 120,000 vehicles on US roads could be affected by the problem though, which is highly concerning. An investigation is always the first step taken before they order a recall, so I won't be surprised if we hear about this in the coming weeks. Of course, I'm hoping it's not as serious as it sounds. Oddly enough though, the Nissan Ariya is experiencing a very similar issue. They have voluntarily recalled 1,063 Arias because their steering wheels are also falling off. In a letter NHTSA sent to Nissan this week, they said, a steering wheel with a loose or missing bolt can detach from the steering column, causing a loss of steering control, increasing the risk of a crash. That sounds a lot like the issue Tesla is having. Nissan received 2 reports of loose steering wheels between January 30th and February 8th this year, leading them to inspect the steering wheels on 418 Ariya vehicles, and a 3rd incident was found. As a result, Nissan is advising owners that if the steering wheels feel loose when rocked back and forth, they should contact their dealers for transport and, quote, immediate repair. This seems like a very strange issue to be having, and even stranger that it's happening to both Tesla and Nissan. Regarding Tesla's possible future recall though, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Hopefully this is a very isolated case and they absolutely lock down that issue at the factory. Next up today, Tesla has officially updated the Model S and X in a number of ways. Tesla is always iterating on their vehicles, so even though I purchased my Tesla Model S in late October 2021, after the full refresh, the car has added and removed a ton of things since then. First, Tesla added the tilting screen that they originally talked about being on that car. They didn't ship it at first, but added it later, and changed the headlights. They also changed the plaid badge on the back. Later, they updated the charge port door, matching the size of the door on the Model 3 and Y, and updated the taillights. The lights make the Model S look even more like a Model 3 from the rear. Tesla also removed the radar sensor from the Model S and X, and just recently removed ultrasonic sensors from the bumpers as well. For the interior, they now offer a round wheel as well as a yoke, and the computer included for infotainment was updated to 16 gigabytes of RAM, allowing newer Model S's and X's to run the AAA games that they promised from day one of that refresh. Those are all small iterations Tesla has made since refreshing this car in early 2021, but now they've made a number of larger changes. First, they are offering a brand new paint color. For as long as most people can remember, Tesla has only offered 5 basic paint colors: white, black, gray, blue, and red. These have been the same for their entire lineup, but we've seen them adding colors in other markets. The Model Y, for example, now comes in Quicksilver and Midnight Cherry Red from their Berlin factory, and Tesla has teased these colors coming to other markets eventually. Now for the Model S and X, Tesla has replaced their red color with their new Ultra Red. So a Model 3 or Y has the option for red multicoat, but the Model S and X has the option for a darker Ultra Red. It appears to be much more vibrant, and I also find it interesting that Tesla is specifically showing their round steering wheel in this video. Elon was adamant that it wasn't going to be an option, and now they're clearly trying to make customers see that this thing exists. Back to that ultra red color though, the Kilowatts got some side-by-side photos with a red multi-coat Model Y. We can clearly see the difference here, although it's not as drastic as some may expect. It may be something that's a bit hard to spot at first when these ship. Tesla is making this the default color for their promotional photos though, and it looks really great. As for the cost, this new color is $3,000 extra, compared to the $2,500 the old red option used to be. For now, it's just on the Model S and X, and I think it's all part of Tesla trying to spur demand for these cars again. They just dropped the Model S by a full $5,000 and the Model X by $10,000, and there is pretty much no question that it's demand related. Another indication here is that they sent out a promotional email with the subject, "Even More Model S." This talks about the recent updates and price drops, but also details everything else they've added to the cheaper Model S. For Ultra Red paint, they say our newest paint offering features a high chroma color and multi-layered paint process that delivers an exceptionally vibrant finish exclusive to new Model S and Model X vehicles. Then they talk about the all-new high-visibility glass roof. Quote, "Our new Model S roof glass lets in more light, allowing a clearer view of the sky, day or night, while maintaining the same level of heat and UV protection." I will say the Model S glass roof does feel pretty dark, especially with a dark interior, so this should be a welcomed upgrade. I'm very curious to see the difference because on Twitter they said, "Glass roof now weighs less and lets in 5 times more light with the same level of UV protection. This also improves handling as it helps low center of gravity." So it seems this roof brings a lot of benefits even down to the vehicle's handling, but also lets in 5 times more light. That's definitely pretty significant. One complaint for these cars has been the brakes that do not hold up to the insane power they deliver, so Tesla now has added, quote, "high performance brakes." Plaid brakes now feature new pads with higher thermal capacity, plus red calipers for a sharper aesthetic. So those caliper covers we spotted previously aren't just using the same or worse brakes. According to Tesla, they are new pads and have a higher thermal capacity. Definitely an upgrade many were looking for Tesla to bring on the Model S. Lastly, they specifically detailed the round steering wheel. Both yoke and round wheel deliver the same stockless driving experience. It's up to you. Order yours for less, starting at $89,900. Funny thing here is that pricing is actually $90 off in the email. It's $89,990 on their website. The Plaid starts at $109,990, the cheapest we've seen that configuration. The other big change Tesla is making is introducing hardware 4.0 on the Model S and X. These cars now come with the latest cameras. The last we heard on this was that first deliveries of Model S's and X's with hardware 4 began. Jason Clinton took delivery of his 2023 Model X, and it includes the new codenamed Phoenix radar that Tesla is adding back into their vehicles. In San Francisco, the Kilowatts spotted a new Model S in their showroom with a round steering wheel, but the same horn. The Kilowatts also saw hardware 4.0 on this Model S and got some samples of what the cameras look like, and they are much better quality than before. Now, a new Tesla service manual has revealed hardware 4.0 actually has fewer cameras in the front. Sawyer Merritt posted a screenshot, and Tesla says, quote, "The bi-camera assembly has cutouts for 3 camera lens assemblies, but one of the cutouts is populated with a dummy camera. We could speculate that this means the new cameras are higher resolution, making the third one unnecessary. That makes me wonder though, why would they put in a dummy camera instead of just designing this system around 2 cameras? Maybe in the future we could see this camera come back, but it's unclear what their intentions are here." Tesla is always future-proofing their cars, both from a retrofitting perspective, but also just to simplify manufacturing so they don't have to make a big change down the line if they need to to add a camera, so I bet they have something in mind there. Next up today, we have a bunch of little Cybertruck updates. Matthew Donegan Ryan was at Tesla's Investor Day and managed to get a lot of info at the meet and greet with executives. He posted a new thread with updates, and it should be taken with a grain of salt, but a lot of these updates are interesting. He notes that the Cybertruck we saw on display is the pre-production beta, so if Tesla released that car today, it would be exactly this. However, they'll likely make some small changes leading to its release since they're always iterating. As for the dimensions, he found out that the Cybertruck is just a little bit smaller than an F-150 Raptor, quote, about 1.5 inches shorter and 2.5 inches narrower, but has around a 6-inch longer bed thanks to the short hood. Apparently, this is about 5% smaller than the original prototype, so it's slightly smaller than an F-150 with more usable space. The front trunk works as expected and opens just the upper hood part like any other Tesla, particularly the Model X, and he said that they will end up making two variants of the Cybertruck, a dual motor and a higher end version that he believes will end up being tri-motor, not quad. Elon talked about quad motor, but they may have gone back to tri, as is in the case with their Plaid vehicles. They apparently don't plan to make a single motor version at all. Additionally, all variants will have rear-wheel steering, and he added, the componentry for the rear-wheel steering is between the wheelhouse and the cab. That is why there is no open space past the wheelhouse like in a traditional truck. Reportedly for the center display, he said the Cybertruck will have Tesla's biggest display ever at 18.5 inches. I was curious about this when I saw the updated interior images. It looked bigger than 17 inches to my eye, but there was no way to truly tell from the few photos. It's also confirmed that there won't be a gauge cluster display and that the second row does have a screen. Apparently the original light bar will be standard, along with air suspension, and the doors are not self-presenting as we thought they might be, similar to the Model X. They release with buttons on the pillars. Lastly, he said there is a secret dedicated Tesla Cybertruck accessories team. Apparently they're working in-house to ensure that great accessories work with the updated 48-volt architecture Tesla plans to first ship on the Cybertruck. As always, these aren't 100% confirmed and they should be taken with a grain of salt, but they are better updates than we've heard anywhere for the Cybertruck, and most seem to make a lot of sense based on recent prototypes and rumors. The thing I can't wait for the most is to see how this truck holds up when people truly put it to the test, hopefully later this year. Next up today, Tesla talked a lot about their future with raw materials at Investor Day, and we're seeing now that their announcements have impacted raw material suppliers. Tesla discussed their silicon carbide reduction plan, and pretty immediately, suppliers of silicon carbide chips saw their shares drop. Colin Campbell, Tesla's VP of Powertrain Engineering, led a presentation discussing how Tesla plans to reduce the cost of their cars' powertrains while maintaining high performance and energy efficiency. He said, quote, "In our next powertrain, the silicon carbide transistors that I mentioned, that are key components but expensive, we figured out a way to use 75% less without compromising the performance or the efficiency of the car." The next day, On Semiconductor, ST Microelectronics, and Wolfspeed stocks dropped between 2 to 7%. Campbell also mentioned that the motors in Tesla's new powertrains will be built without any rare earth metals. MP Materials, a raw materials supplier known for providing automakers with neodymium, then dropped about 11%. Some have pointed out, though, that this 75% figure may not be based on much. According to some semiconductor stock analysts, Tesla provided one data point without the proper context, and when this is understood, we believe the announcement will provide an opportunity for investors. Tesla has been using the same inverter technology since 2017, and silicon carbide devices have become significantly more efficient since then. So it's sounding like Tesla and other EV makers as well will be relying on silicon carbide semiconductors for the foreseeable future. On the topic of raw materials, we now have evidence that Tesla has broken ground on their $375 million lithium refinery. They announced at Investor Day that construction is underway, saying this is a good example of something where we're basically talking about breaking ground and starting commissioning within 10 months with actual production in 12 months. Since then, at Chase D. Rogers spotted a Texas Commission on Environmental Quality notice posted at the construction site. It says the estimated start date was December 15th, 2022, and the projected end date is December 1st, 2023. You can also clearly see Tesla Inc. listed on the notice. In these photos, you can see an office trailer, generator, and shipping containers, so it looks like construction is officially underway. This is very exciting to see and will hopefully mean that the lithium refining that Tesla relies on is about to become even more efficient. Tesla prides itself for their vertical integration, and mining is one of the last pieces of the puzzle for them that should ultimately trickle down to cheaper prices long term. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. Fisker has officially partnered with ChargePoint to offer EV charging in North America to support its upcoming EVs. ChargePoint is a level 2 and DC fast charging network. The collaboration will allow future owners to access over 400,000 roaming points, including 16,700 fast chargers. ChargePoint states in a press release that all their chargers combined equate to over 80% of the public charging locations in North America. Only about 4% of those chargers are fast chargers, though. Tesla's supercharger network is still the largest fast charging network out there for now. The second iteration of Fisker's flagship EV, the Ocean, went into production in November, and its limited edition 1 trim is sold out. When those orders are fulfilled in the US and Canada, owners will be able to use the SUV's navigation system to locate ChargePoint and roaming partner stations. They can also use the ChargePoint app. It doesn't look like they'll be offering any complimentary charging on the ChargePoint network, so in practice, this partnership just means it'll be easier to find a ChargePoint charger from your car or app. We haven't heard any updates on when Fisker Ocean deliveries will begin in North America, but these chargers will be ready when they arrive. As with any EV, they're going to need a much better long-term plan than just partnering with one charging network that probably isn't super reliable and everywhere you need to go. Mercedes-Benz has announced a partnership with Google to offer supercomputer-like performance regarding their navigation system and automated driving sensors. They'll be building their own proprietary operating system called MBOS, powered by Google, and they also announced they'll be expanding on a previous partnership with LiDAR specialist Luminar in a new multi-billion-dollar deal to integrate the tech by mid-decade. This new system will be capable of over-the-air software updates and looks to compete directly with Tesla, who has integrated this feature in their cars from the beginning. Mercedes has also broken ground on a new battery recycling facility in Germany. The objective of this facility is, of course, to allow them to source more battery materials sustainably, but it'll also reduce the cost of raw materials and could help bring down the cost for consumers in the long run. Mitsubishi has revealed a new business plan, Challenge 2025, that includes 4 new EVs. This is exciting because they currently don't have any EVs in their North American or European lineup. This is just the start, though, because their long-term goal is for 100% of their sales to be either pure electric or hybrid by 2035. Previously, their goal was to be 50% electrified by 2030, but they've recently seen PHEV sales dropping as new EVs hit the market. Currently, Mitsubishi allocates 20% of their budget to R&D expenses, but they'll be increasing that to 70% after 2026 to make the transition possible. 2 of their first EVs will be created in alliance with Nissan and Renault, and the other 2 will be an electric pickup truck and a 2-row SUV. The next couple years are going to be rough for Mitsubishi, but hopefully they'll be able to catch up with this new plan. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see why I decided to quit renting Teslas on Turo after nearly 100 renters, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.